Greetings everyone, please keep on the next driving set on up. Rumble's going. YouTube is booting on up, Twitch is going. Give me a moment to turn on the live chat windows. What's this? Huh. Oh yeah, I think he occasionally raids me on Rumble. Guess he's into Age of Empires 4. Even though I really haven't done much when it comes to Rumble. One of those things I tried just to keep in the back pocket, that sort of thing. I also have trouble uploading videos to Rumble. It's because of they had a YouTube video sync, but Rumble also has capped how much data you can upload at 100 gigs, I think it was. And I'm like 14 terabytes out of 100 gigs because I didn't add limiter until later. And my YouTube channel has like, what, 6,000 videos? I know at least 5,000. So yeah. Howdy. Please give me a moment to make sure everything is good on my other computer. Yep, looks like everything is good to go. Oh, thank you, and welcome to stream. So, let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Advanced Wars Days Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Small on the north side as the yellow Zhao Teitong. We got Mini. Gotta slow down and pronounce that. Spawn on the south side as the blue Will. We got Greyfield guy who's not playing Greyfield. Will's course unchanged for the cartridge counterpart, has standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 36 to 60. All units get plus 10 plus 10, direct ground units get plus 20% offense, and for a superpower, all of them get plus 2 additional movement. Howdy! Zhao Teitong is a custom seal. He gives you 90% rebate for his boarding, no radius, no expansion, no energy, and effectively that's what his gimmick is. You just get 90% rebate on loading a seal into a unit. Rather than costing something, you get a rebate. That's it. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport. It is a strong side, weak side mechanic, so you tend to be a bit more aggressive strong side. I don't think I really need to explain that all too much. Also a pair of combatants in the map, but it's on the weak side. However, don't really see them being captured all too often. It gets captured, probably the player's already lost the game. Of course, just infantry at the moment. Will has 4,000 funds, so he could go for bike this turn. Yep, we got a bike. I've been replaying the Command & Conquer series, and I got a lot of terms stuck in my head, like, this bike's ready from the attack bike. Got another bike deployed in the field, this time for Zhao Teitong. Another pair of bikes and 1 more infantry. Triple infantry saves 3,000 funds. Maybe I'm for a tank next turn. Remember as well, he gets a rebate, so actually he will have plus 11,000 income, so you will have 14,000. So you could go for medium tank, infantry, and we also got a rig. Ready to rig the game. Double tank and commits base skip. Yeah, I suppose 14,000 does make it. You can divide it by 2 to spend 7,000 each. He's probably going to CO one of those tanks next turn. In fact, turning that 7,000 value tank into a 700 value tank, while providing, of course, ZO benefits of maximum veterancy of +20/+20. Does CO the tank here. Both sides capture the comm tower. Artillery, rig, and tank. Decent amount of rigs in this game. You usually don't see rigs this too often. At least this early. Maybe Greyfield guy forgot that he's not playing Greyfield. Yeah. Tank, and infantry. Both sides getting a healthy number of tanks in the field. He does go for mech, and the rig is in position to ready to pick up the mech. Tank bike. Does CO the tank over here. So we do have a contender. He may just push forward the city. He'll be vulnerable in the city, but of course his day-to-day repairs. But even then, that would perhaps be cost-effective for Zhao Titong because of the rebate he got. This thing's effectively 700 funds worth of value. So you can push forward to get a shot, and it will be cost-effective. But he may lose a bit of momentum spending time losing a tank. Right now he does have 19,000 on the field. Additionally, it will be donating energy to Will. Tank, mech, tank. And I already got a pretty good pun I'm thought of. Let's see if I can use it. Tank heading over to the east. Takes out the entry in there. Gets 8 energy. Does go for another pair of tanks and artillery unit. So got a healthy number of tanks on the field. Does get a first strike there. Does have better defense stars as well, by 1. Takes the bike there. Hits the other bike as well. Will right now has 16 energy. Will have targets in front of him, so he should be able to get a decent amount of energy. Mech there. That's going to pose a problem. Nothing range to strike it first. And looks like he's rotating down south to really hit these handful of units. And maybe we're going to do there's a pullback for the tank here. And this tank could be sacked because right now I don't think it'd be worth it to fight here any longer. I think we better pull this tank back. Does push its way forward. That tank has 9% health, so can't use the bike to finish it off. But he's bringing more tanks there. Brings another tank as well. Maybe a battlecopter? Nope, over here. Yeah, I think Battlecopter would be actually pretty good. Right now, he has quite a bit more presence up north. Just not necessarily engaging anything. Tank anti-air. And having Zhao Titong not lose his tank here is both a good and bad thing. Now he can eye to build something expensive next turn and then CO it. He has 22,000, so he could go for a bomber. Will's command tank took a pretty big hit there. Had 26 energy. And the tank is actually trapped here. You can see there's a wall there. He may need to move his tank, I would say on top of where the comm tower is, in order to provide a good radius for power charge. But then again, he's pretty close to getting +1 radius, so it does influence where he can put it. There's a shot there, has +1 radius there. He could move his tank, actually now he can fully withdraw here. All the way over there. It's at, oh, he merged there. I was going to see how much percentage of the health he had left. Tank Duster. He did go for a bomber. He's going to seal that bomber. Duster against a sealed bomber is a bit more of a soft counter than a hard counter. And tank, infantry, and bike. Bomber, advance way forward. Mech casting a bit of damage there. Tank on tank, 48 energy. 51 energy. Does take out that unit there. It's a good shot there. Right now, Will could deploy a superpower next turn, but I don't think it would be a great idea at this moment. Not enough units to really utilize the increased movement range. Anti-air, mech, battlecopter, and tank. Incident of 124,000 versus 94. Rotates around. There you go. He has access to a superpower. And if he wills it, he can utilize it next turn. And that was the horrible pun I was mentioning. Medium tank. Duster advancing. Tank flare? Flare. Don't see real use for a flare other than being a bit more armored than a recon. It is tracked though, so it may move better on grass. Based off a number of units over there. Did he move that bomber too close? No. He did manage to stay out of range of the anti-air. With the superpower, he can plus 2 movement range, so he can move here, just not here or nor there. He is adequate out of range of the anti-air. Artillery gets hit. Battlecopter, mech, medium tank, and tank. We're also going to get some ground up here, but there's not much left to capture some of those properties. Tank is sank. Looks like he's not going to be going for superpower this turn. Sacks the infantry unit there, takes out the infantry unit there, takes out the infantry unit there. Hits the tank there, finish it off, goes in range of the artillery. It's off a bike there. Anti-air, tank, and anti-air. It's a good hit there. Infantry hits infantry. Mech gonna be loaded up into 1 HP APC. I would not really trust that to transport. Comm Tower has 6 capture bars remaining. He could join capture, which is probably a good idea. Join up the 3 health one. I don't. Could range it. He may activate superpower next turn. Decides to finish off that unit there. Pops the superpower. And looks like the bomber was in range of the anti-air after the superpower. Flanks around, takes up the unit, captures up the comm tower. Saw that tank there, hits the artillery. Good hits in the center. Another duster, tank, and mech. Anti-air goes down. Anti-air hits infantry. Bombs away. That bomb is sort of more or less just thrown away. It only cost him 2,000 funds. Nope, release the unit down south, or maybe it's south itself, I'm not sure. Good number of mechs, so dusters will be useful against the battlecopters and the mechs. Another battlecopter, tank, and bike. Actually, got a good number of despicable neutral properties over here. 25,000 for 23,000. Will does have 2 central cities captured. Another anti-air. He could take out the bomber. or just leave it alone for the time frame. Tank anti-air, very healthy Nova anti-airs. Does take out the artillery, hits the tank as well. Tank anti-air. Quite a bit of units pushing way forward in the center here. It's for 154,000 versus 119. Tank, command tank will hit a tank. Trying to capture up a city down south. Duster will finish off the bomber. Tank hits anti-air. In which that's the only anti-air in the region, so this Duster has free reign of the barring a 2 health anti-air. Hits the tank there. Duster throws a shot into the unit there. Flare hits mech. Tank. Interrupts the capture up north. Does get some picks in the center. Will has 24 energy. And does go for another bomber there. Looks like it's going to be sealing another bomber. Bike, and mech. Another tank. Will pushes forward his tank a little bit there. Takes out another tank. Anti-air takes out the mech. Tank goes for the medium tank. Gets a good shot there. And another tank falls on up. Hits it twice. Tank hits the artillery. Will's at 52 energy. Tank, and battlecopter. Oh, I want to see the bomber CO'd. Makes some good hits there. Bomber does get CO'd. Give me also 39,000 to work with, so you could go for another bomber this turn. Battlecopter, anti-air, and medium tank. Will could deploy a superpower out this turn if he wills it. He has the superpower available. But right now, he could wait till next turn. There's already a lot of targets in front of him you can make short work of. The rig may want to resupply the Duster. Gets a number of good hits there. The rig could also pull out a temporary airport. All the stuff in front of him goes down. Will's keeping his CO unit nice and safe. Does hit a Duster there. Maybe the two Dusters can merge together. Be at full health. Max vet Duster, but keeping them 7 or 11 health as opposed to 10 health could be quite nice to help deal with the bomber. Medium tank, mech, regular tank. He supplies the Duster, takes out the mech there. 4 health Duster takes out the rig. Now the superpower. Takes out the mech there. Anti-air heads to the bike. Tank hits tank. Duster will strike the bomber from the mountainside. Though only did 3 points of damage. So surprised max Veterancy with +10/+10 only did 3 damage. Sure, it's at 7 health, but still, I thought it would do a little bit more. Triple tanks. It's the anti-air. Bomber strikes the rig. Now take 10 turns for it to blow out temporary port. Or temporary seaport if so chooses. Rig goes down. Pretty good counterattack there by Zhao Titong. He has 1 turn of value ahead on the field at the moment. Whoever now has 26,000 income versus 24,000 income. This property over here is still despicably neutral. And this one here as well. Duster hits the bomber once again. And Will goes for another duster. Guess his opponent needs a dust off. Which means medics, which is not entirely false. There's a bike there. I thought he would attack the mech. Did take out the mech with the command tank. Medium tank strikes medium tank. It's the anti there. A lot of good hits there by Will. He's almost up to another superpower if he wants to wills it in. And his CO tank could go down. There's a lot of pain nearby. Yep, goes down. He could CO a duster. Great counterattack there by Zhao Tong. And Will is out of dusters, at least in the center of the map. You can always take out the bomber with an anti-air, with that one's out of range. And we just got a good number of medium tanks being pulled down out from Zhao Tong. Looks like Will's starting to fall back. Medium tank, bike, infantry, and another duster. Does hit the tank up north. Both sides are falling back a little bit there, so there's quite a bit of no man's land in the center. Will may seal this medium tank over here. He's not resealed a unit. The bomber is very far forward. I think he's just trying to get a sack. Decides to trap it. So the bomber is surrounded. Of course, we'll get some free shots on the tanks. You can either choose a tank on open plains or a tank on top of a city to bleed funds immediately or just get permanent damage to the front line. Does take a shot there against the tank on the open ground. I suppose you could try bleeding the ammo dry off of a bomber, then you're forced to lead it. Battlecopter, tank, mech, and bike. Will's medium tank straight forward. Well, now he gotta strike a full health tank on top of the city or strike a infantry in open ground. Probably better to strike the tank on the city. Zhao Titong right now has 2 dust or anti-airs in the field, which he is fighting against 2 dusters, which may be adequate. Battlecopter, mech, and infantry. Will's pushing up north, gets a shot there. Of course, he says he has no energy there, so no +1 radius. Duster hits Battlecopter, will not strike the anti-air just yet. Yeah, so far it's been a very good game. It's hard to say who actually is going to pull ahead. They're still both pretty even. Compositionally, they're very different. Will has a good number of tanks, while Zhao Titong has plenty of medium tanks and mechs. So Will's going to push up north. He did eliminate the bomber this time. Right now, and it's still pretty even as well. Day-to-day differences. One person pulls ahead, the other person then pulls ahead. So neither side has a clear advantage. Artillery gets a free shot there. Knocked out the tank there. Will's tank is in open ground, no defense stars where it's at, but at least has +35 defense from all other sources. What is the other CO most useful for getting fast money? In Days of Ruin? Granted, this is of course Tiny Wars, which is the web version of Days of Ruin, which does have custom COs they added in themselves. That would probably be either Zhao Titong, which gives you rebate, or you get, what's her name? Judy, which provides you some refund upon attacking. If you're talking about this CO's name, Zhao Ting Tong. It's a custom CO for Tiny Wars. And not necessarily fast money, just gives you rebates. Good damage there. Good number of hits there. Will could possibly pop a superpower this turn. Pops a superpower, guess he wills it. Allows him to get a good strike up here. He can probably send an infantry unit to head up north. Captures the properties could be very nice. Down south, he's starting to capture some despicably neutral properties. And I think Will is starting to pull pretty far ahead here. A little bit, but they're drastically different in my opinion. Colin provides you increase your money by 50% for activating the power, while Zhao Titong gives you a rebate on deploying your CO unit, which is drastically different. Also, he pays full price and his units are at full value as well. No reduction damage for discount. A lot of good hits across various tanks. Right now, Will's at 168, Zhao Titong's at 142 with his day-to-day money. Since he also got that bomber sealed in, got a nice 18,000 fund rebate. If he has a good number of mechs here, mechs counter everything, but they get countered by everything. And they're pretty close in range. Tank, battlecopter, medium tank. And goes for a temporary airport. But that may be just trying to boost this infantry unit forward. Or this one. Will gets a good strike on that medium tank. Puts it out of its misery. 10 energy. Takes out the battlecopter. Duster takes the 1 health battlecopter. Finish off that anti-air. Hits the battlecopter there, wounding it. Takes out the mech there. Good shot there. +1 radius. Getting even more power charge going. I could have put the battlecopter there. Use the regular tank there. Good hits there. And he already has enough for the superpower. The Will is not a CO you chain superpowers like this. This is just how this game just happened to be. Tank, anti-air, battlecopter. He's down to 120,000 for 174 across his day-to-day, so he's at 144-ish. Mechs get some good strikes there. So the mechs in range are getting some good work done, but he did lose a number of them. Yeah, because there was no lost attack damage. In Days of Ruin, none of the COs have negative effects. But looks like Zhao Titong has resigned this grade, saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Let's see, next replay. That was a very good one, to say the least. Not that button. I always get these buttons mixed up. Top right is usually the menu button for a lot of games. Not that button. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. What does this button with skull and crossbones do? It's glowing red, labeled nukes. Not familiar with this map. 25 turns, so... Also Fog of War. So let's go ahead and... Let's see, there are things like more days, less like better naval units, but not a fan of difference of comm towers. Yeah, I think the plus 10% firepower for comm towers is better in Dual Strike and by web. But the naval units, Days of Ruins made naval actually fun. But let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn top right side as the blue... What was his name again? This custom CEO? Tinker. We have Ray Cadoodles. And as something as well, notice well, it's actually split. You got the vertical axes, should mention. This one is the red Lin. We got Buster, Beachside. Beachside. Did I just say bitch? May have said that multiple times. Oh well. Either way, let's go ahead and talk about the CEOs. Lin's course unchanged with a cartridge cannon part, has standard boarding cost, 1 radius, 30, 60, 60. All units get plus 10, plus 10. Ground units get additional plus 20, plus 20. And of course she does have, for superpower, able to see through hiding places, and plus 2 vision range. Tinker is of course a custom CEO. I have to remind myself what he does. Standard boarding cost, has a relatively large radius of 40. A very quick expansion and very low max energy of 15 and 30. His day-to-day gets us very simple plus 10, plus 10. And for only 15 energy, whenever his maximum energy is 30, he can pop it to give all global plus 20, plus 10. With 1 radius equals 5 radius, or plus 1 expansion, 5 radius is actually pretty wide, so... Interesting how it is. He's a pretty minimalist CEO when it comes to effects, but you can deploy his superpower often. Let's see how well it goes. This map is a 3-base map. Your strong side is a little bit slow, and player 2 actually starts with a bike. Both players do start with recon. Recons are out of fuel, so they cannot reconnoiter the area. And deploying a rig forward to resupply is probably not work since they only have 3 health. Wait, do a lot of these cities... Yep, looks like the person who made the map had a bit of fun, where he, instead of sitting on top of roads to help with the visuals, they're sitting on top of rivers. So this radar station's on top of a river, this city's on top of a river. That's going to annoy the crap out of me. There's also a comm tower I just noticed in the top left on the field. You have to clear out some meteorites to get to it. There's also a neutral temporary airport here. Airports next to the 2 bases as well. So the weak side could get overran, though to be fair, both players' weak side is also next to each other, so I have no idea how that'll go, because in order to send reinforcements to the weak side, you have to send a lot of stuff up there. And more look at this map, it's a weird, funnel map, and if you're going to send strong units up to the weak side, there's also HQs right here, so you don't push all the way up north. Not only has plus 10% strategy, but it's also plus 5, plus 5, tends to make the comm towers cancel each other out, effectively making them sort of pointless. At that point in time, having no comm towers rather than having both players having one comm tower really does not make a difference. We're trying to flip the property, can be interrupted, a lot of stuff nearby. I just realized, more as I mentioned that this funneling upwards, the temporary airport's never going to be used, is it? Unless it's a gray field. You have a tank push forward. Kinder or Tinker. Why did I say Kinder? Tinker's loaded up himself inside of a recon to reconnoiter the area. I love that word. Another pair of radar stations here. Wait. There's a lot of radar stations. This game's maybe map and maybe Fog of War, but there's a large number of radars. Scouts forward the bike and catch up the city. Hits those infantry units there. Pulls back the bike. Bike is onto the HQ. Recon pass there. Right now Lynn has 18,000 versus 17,000 income. We do have a T-copter here. I think my thing about favorite thing about Days of Ruin is the better naval units. They are so much fun. Oh yeah. Battleships being able to move and shoot. They become king of the seas. Even they may have one less range, they have a lot more range. Battlecopter, pair of infantry. Cruisers are a little bit more reasonable. Not to mention everything's just generally just cheaper. I think some players still wish that black boats were still existing. Gunboats are nice and all. They are dirt cheap. I think gunboats could actually use a slight buff and have 2 ammo rather than 1. That could change up quite a bit of mathematics, but yeah. I think the gunboats make a big difference just because you have a cheap naval you can do stuff. An aircraft carrier. It's still pretty expensive, but yet it is so powerful. Even maps where there's occasionally a seaport here and there to go in a river. I've seen aircraft carrier play be unbelievably strong with seaplanes. They seem like seaplanes, it's expensive to get started, but aircraft carriers and seaplanes, there's so much power there. It's hard to describe it, but it's just so powerful. Tank, anti-air tank. Lynn does seal the tank there. Does hit the infantry unit there. And hit the bike there. Yep, seaplanes are good. They're also a little bit expensive. 15,000 is quite expensive. And they have, of course, a lot of limitations. They're actually maybe a little bit too expensive, but still, they're so nice. And the nice thing about aircraft carriers as well is any aircraft unit can launch off of them, not just seaplanes. Oh, we got the plus choice of firepower and plus 10% global for Tinker. Give a little bit of extra edge up here. Artillery's in range. May shell the 6 infantry unit there. Get some good hits. Mech gets a great shot there. Looks like Tinker's taking a lot of good victories right now. He is going to have about 4 turns advantage on the field. Lynn's command tank here did get hit. And looks like this anti-air is going to be way too far out of range to hit that battlecopter. Oh, did she actually capture the property there? With 2 health. But yeah, aircraft carrier is able to launch any units, so you can pop it out and support any air advance really nicely as well. Like, having battlecopters able to launch off of it is so powerful. Hell, Dusters do quite well with them. Personally, I think actually Dusters need a slight buff where they need to just cost less. I say make the cost down to 9,000 match battlecopters. Effectively get an anti-battlecopter the price of a battlecopter. I think that actually would make them a bit more useful. And maybe make them a little bit weaker versus fighters or jets. Fighters. They're reasonably okay versus bombers, but maybe make them 10% less if you make them reduce down to 9,000. Make it so they just do a little bit less versus jet movement units, if that makes any poor sense. Catching up some of those properties down south. Cleared up north, Lynn's tank here. 8 here does strike the battlecopter, putting up 25 energy. Artillery trying to break on in, and since there's only 1 compound on the map, this comp tower will actually be influential. But it will take a bit of time to shell it, still have 52% health. tank artillery. Medium tank infantry. Flared fight over there. Lends up to 25 energy. Her tank here is quite damaged. Gets a nice strike there, but still in range, though will be hidden. Put some rounds of the meteorite, 5%. Recon, get some shots there. The way the powers work is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it prevents them spamming. On the other hand, losing the mid-turn sucks. Sort of does. Some COs really rely on the CO zone, some more rely on the power. Now, another Tinker CO power. Since it's dirt cheap and he's loaded up on a cheap unit, it's meant for generating power. If you have a CO unit or a CO zone that's actually quite large, you could be loaded up on a cheaper unit, so you don't have to worry about losing a turn unit movement mid-turn. While Lynn's strong, but very small, so she's definitely more reliant on loading up to a strong unit. Battlecopter, flare, medium or mech, and flare. And starts to catch up with the column tower. Waits on top of the wasteland. Not wasteland, ruins. Flared fire there. Nice little join back there. 35 energy versus 12. Tank, and medium tank. The way it prevents spamming is the fact that getting the power is more about keeping your units alive. True. Not to mention efficiency to go along with that as well. I know a lot of people players are split on the CO zone, how it works in Days of Ruin. Ooh, Lynn's lose her tank there. First, I think one way to work around that is, depending what game mode, like maybe set up the game mode where it has stated power charge, the other one has one of CO zones, like has potential to just have both options available to the players if there's ever a new game like this. And now Lynn has this column tower, gets a nice strike there, takes out Tinker's CO unit. If you open with a flare tank back there, probably the flare would be a better option, honestly. Is the recon down south, bike hits infantry. Tank, and bike. Answer of 116, Tinker starts turn 112, so he's about a full turn ahead in value, and got 125 or 25,000 versus 22,000. Battlecopter strikes Lynn's CO tank, and that could go down. Yeah, it's going down. We're going to CO this tank down here, or go from up north. Got a nice medium tank ready to push forward as well. Battlecopter finds the anti-air. Infantry unit there as well. Tinker does load up himself to a tank rather than to the flare. The copter's on 39 fuel. It's the battlecopter. Tank. And anti-air. CO unit forward, a lot of targets in front of him, so he's going to get a good amount of power charge. Has enough for CO zone and power. Gets some good shots up there. Already has maxed out energy. because in Advanced Wars Already you can really see really good players sack units for power charge, but that doesn't work in this game. True, it's only about damage done, not necessarily funds lost or dealt damage. Well, funds lost, either yours or your opponent's. Ooh, good shot there from the artillery on the medium tank. Near 5 energy. Strikes infantry unit there. Tank, recon, battlecopter, and infantry. Lynn has a very good presence up north, but she's still struggling down the center. Man, also though, how static the front lines seem like. Maybe a rocket would be quite nice in one of these forests or on top of the city. I think on top of a rocket on top of one of these forests would be very nice. Right here, that would provide a pretty good coverage. Only a few times I'll say rockets may actually be good. Not to mention, there's actually plenty of roads for the rocket to get forward as well, so not too big mobility issues. Mech infantry in medium tank. Looks like Tink's going to be focusing more up north. Since he loses this up here, then Lin has another base to push down south and then be hit by 2 flanks. Let's see, which do I prefer? I do prefer the Days of Ruin system better, but like I mentioned beforehand, I could easily see potentially, if there's ever another game, make it so that you can choose which version. Artillery, bike, and flare to help support both. Does pop his own power there. Does hit the Lin tank there. Lin's tank is going down. Hits the mech there. No, nice thing about Days of Ruin as well is how scouting works, since your units can do a drive-by scouting. I agree, but I think the older games have the better characters. True. I would say when it comes to Days of Ruin, the most notable character is probably Waylon. Because you got Brenner and Will are basically goody two-shoes. Lynn is actually more tactical, and she is willing to leave people behind. She will do what's necessary, so she has a bit more of a gray character in that aspect. Isabella is just the waifu. Nothing much to say there. Tasha is actually somewhat notable as well, since she has a lot of personality of being aggressive and angry. Gage is just a stereotypical yes sir soldier. Davis exists. Waylon has a lot of personality. Greyfield is just a poor asshole commander dictator guy. Nothing too crazy, but quite reasonable for a character. Oh, the most notable character I would say in Days of Ruin is probably the mayor. And that's from the campaign, not even CO. I think the mayor is actually probably the most notable character. You know who's the most forgettable of the initial COs? Jake. Jake is probably the most forgettable, one of the most forgettable COs. In fact, he's probably more forgettable than Davis. I'm not even joking. Tank mech. But yeah, let's see, who else is there? Penny's has been a character. She's rememberable, and Mr. Bear. Tabitha's rememberable because she's a monster to deal with. Calder's definitely rememberable. Definitely the 3 most notable characters from Days of Ruin. It's good hits up there. Medium tank's almost down. Artillery's out of range of everything. It is hidden on top of the temporary airport. Yeah, Waylon's definitely... He has a unique CO design because there is no defensive air. He's the first defensive air CO. Though Greyfield and Tiny Wars also has a similar aspect to him. tank, medium tank, and bike. I mean, they did a lot of good things with, he's just evil and owns it and it's great. Yep. Well, more just, not necessarily evil, just a bad guy. If I would rate him. Because, let's see, he's a chauvinist, he's a coward. But, not necessarily evil. Definitely a bad guy, though. One of those weird situations. Let's get some good shots there. Oh yeah. I would say, of all the CO zones in Days of Ruin, I would say is weak, it would probably be Will's. I want to say Will and Brenner's is probably the weakest. Good shots there. Oh yeah, Wayland CO's is definitely a good CO theme. Good shot there. It's the anti-air. Artillery's in range, and looks like the artillery will get a good shot on either the tank or the anti-air. Well, I've sort of been too busy talking forgetting to cast the game. Whoops. Oh well. Lynn right now has 10 energy to work with. Good number of tanks here. Artillery tank. Capture the temporary airport. Blair heading north out of ammo. Get some good shots there. 22 energy. So Lynn could probably take out that 8 health tank herself and then get a +1 radius, but it would leave her a bit exposed, so probably not a good idea to do that. Just pulls back to HQ. That's a reasonable spot. Tank, tank, and tank. I think you can pull out another CO. Yep, the rock music is very good in this game. Bike taking up north. This medium tank could be struck by a regular tank. Lynn's at 24 energy. A lot of targets in front of her. Lynn could push forward, take on one of these targets, and use a +1 CO zone for the anti-air to hit the battle copter and probably knock it out. Lynn probably could actually deploy out her CO power next turn. Nice shot there. Hits the anti-air as well. Anti-air hits the battle copter, very nice. Puts her around into the medium tank. Waits the medium tank. It's going to be a little bit more passive this turn. Hits the artillery. And moves the tank onto the forest. Excuse me. Tank can employ another CO power. Pops it. Does not take out the tank down south. 30% health. Does take the medium tank there, but now this medium tank is in range of the artillery. It's both of those tanks' first strike. Mech is in range though. Lynn might want to pop her superpower next turn, or this turn. That could really help out up north. I think she should pop a superpower. I think it's turn about 154 versus 93. And looks like she just got inside. Oh no, has ran out of time. Well, either way, this is Angrade saying thank you for watching and on to the next replay. Let's see now. Keep on alt-tabbing. This is not a game where I need to alt-tab to get to another window. This map is huge. Let's do that one later. I just don't like how big that map is. 24 turns actually may not be not a very good replay on that one since how wide open it is. Yeah, that should do. Greetings everyone, and Grid here with another Advanced Wars Daisy Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Small on the south side as the dark gray Lin, we got Evil Ange. Small on the north side, top left side as the red Will, we got Jean Bat 13. Will is of course unchanged with the cartridge counterpart, has standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 30-60-60. All units get +10/+10, ground units get plus numbers in offense, and of course gets +2 movement range when it comes to superpower. Lin, of course, is also unchanged for cartridge counterpart, has standard boarding cost, 1 radius, 30-60-60. All units get +10/+10, all ground units get additional +20/+20, and of course she does provide +2 vision and see-through hiding global. But this is not a Fog War match, so she's also going to rely on just good generalist firepower. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport. Both players start off with a good number of properties there, which allows them to build bikes immediately. The bike infantry saves a bit of money there. Bike infantry. Both players saving a little bit of monies. Probably on to so get this factory going. Bike. And since it's also not like war, I want to always point out that ruins are no different than planes. They both offer 1 defense star, and they also provide the same negative movements and positive movements as planes. So in this map, ruins mean nothing. Do not just treat them exactly the same as planes. Do not think about it too much. Going to reach down and open up a tree. Of course, my chair is starting to creak. I always find the creaky chairs. My apologies about that. Does CO the bike there? Maybe a little bit too weak of a platform to CO. I can see tanks, I can see flares, I can see recons, but a bike might be a little bit too fragile for Lin. Will has a bigger CO zone radius, so he can't be put on a cheaper unit like that himself. Make sure to try to push forward aggressively in this flank. The way got triple bike last turn. Tank, bike, infantry, probably gonna CO the bike or tank. That means Lin probably should get a tank here, or maybe battlecopter. She does have 12,000. It would be a base skip to go for a battlecopter. Tank, bike. Will does seal the tank there. Does interrupt the capture and takes out the unit there. It's the bike there. Bike and tank. Howdy. Oh, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Send me highs. Which is better than send me feet pics. Sure. Go right ahead. A good contingent of bikes here. Will has his command tank there. A lot of targets from both sides. Another tank over here. So Lin has 2 tanks. Will has a second tank there. We do have a battlecopter pull out last turn. Tank, anti-air, and bike. tank bike. For Company Earth 2 replays, it's straight from Live Games Lobby. Those games are actually just straight up live games, so I have no idea what they are when I click on them. The Spectate tab, in short, rather than the Replay tab. Sometimes I find some good ones, sometimes I find some bad ones. I try to split up the shorter length ones and put them on Sunday. That's where I tend to upload a bunch of, or schedule to release a bunch of not great replays. Of course, if you have any replays, I have my Gmail in description. Though I may want to change, see if you can't get that Gmail so adjusted. It's back when my channel was called that. Now let's take the bike there. So I'm gonna flip that property there. Lens at 6 energy, wheels at 8 energy. Now this game has not been too bloody at the moment. Just a lot of bikes dancing around. Yep, like I said, the description, both on the live stream and on each of the videos, there's my Gmail. You can send me a file or a link to like kotu.org. That's the bike there. Hits Lynn's command bike, and that one as well. Wheels with 29 energy. This is gonna get +1. Doesn't get +1 radius. Help with more shots down south. Battlecopter and Lynn's tank go down. That's quite important right now. Could seal this tank over here. We'll be able to reach so here, so we'll be out of range of everything though. Does get a shot there. Use the tank there, finish off the bike there. Hits. Oh, does not hit the battlecopter. Plus 10% defense actually came in handy. 4% health remaining. Though to be fair, 1 health battlecopter is not exactly combat effective anymore. Just be an annoying thing to flap around in front of your opponent. Pulling back the airport is always a possibility. Good shots there. Wheels at 57 energy, a significant amount to work with. And Will's making some good progress up north. Pulls back to his tank there, has the CO power available. Mech tank. With +2 movement range, these mechs can do a nice little sprint to start off the turn with the CO power. Lynn right now has 16,000 income, Will has 15. There's actually still a good number of despicable neutral properties on the field. Battlecopter makes way home, does pop the CO power now. Don't know how effective this one will be. Hits the bike, +2 movement range is quite a distance. Managed to strike the tank there. Okay, the CO power was very useful up here. Down south, tank reaches not all the way forward. Gets a good shot there. Hits that tank as well. Takes out that tank. Just softens up this formation. But Lynn's going to have a lot of things in range, to say the least. Puts a good round there. Good shot there, gets +1 radius. But Lynn's tank there could go down. Tank, and bike. Recon captures up the city. Not Recon, bike. Joins the bikes there, but that's still easy pickings. Does wait the battlecopter on top of the airport, you monster. Takes out the tank there. And then, of course, did lose her command tank this region. He's out the wounded tank there. 8 health tank beyond top of the city, so if this tank is struck, it will be retaliated upon. Tank artillery and commits base skip. Lin ends her turn of 71,000. Will starts turn of 60. Bikes putting some rounds of the tank there. Oh, even sacks, more or less sacks these tanks there. Up to 33 energy. Will's being hyper aggressive right now of all those tanks. Has a 3 of kind of 2 health tanks. And if he had another tank that's maxed out vet, he will also have a straight of tanks with the unvetted vet 2, vet 1 CO tank and a max vet tank. And since it'll be a guess it'll be a straight flush. Okay, so the tank there. All these things fall back. Needs a decent amount of repairs. Will is at 36 energy. Artillery. Another tank. Oh. Did that artillery not move? Am I crazy? Maybe there's a time limit in this game in which both player may have run out of time. Not sure. Tank, infantry. I don't see time limits, so I don't know what's the status on all that. Something that Tiny Wars does not really have for on the replay browser of viewing times. Does the bike up north? Tank, bike. Got a pretty good core of tanks there. Goes at 45 energy. Lin, of course, does offer a bit of a wall break capability, but she really needs +1 CO power to go across diagonals in order to help reach this right here. Because she would move here, attack this tank here. This zone will not be highlighted until she gets +1 CO zone. In this case, she's able to strike 2 points, finish off that unit there, and able to push forward that way. May have been better go for that one. Probably. Though it's still not really a bad title. It's definitely the weaker titles, so that's for sure. Tank, bike, and infantry. Does put the superpower. Does hit the tank there, hits the tank. Looks like Will's tanks are blitzing the way forward. It's the bike with the bike heading up north, capturing that property. Will's starting to make a bit of a clean sweep overall, feels like. Good shots there. Mech gets good striking on the command tank. Sneaks around, hits the anti-air. Yep. Yeah, sorry if I would have misconstrued something. Battlecopter, infantry. I sort of agree with you. It's not a bad game, just like I said, a weak game. Does hit the tank there, hits the tank there. Though I don't know if we'll ever see another Advanced Wars game, a new title. Because it seems like a lot of the game developers just don't want to make strategy games anymore. Strategy games are really falling off. Strategy games in general. The only games that seem like it's doing strong right now because strategy games probably Stellaris. Yeah, the funny thing is, yeah, they didn't really offer big challenges when it comes to villains. Like, they didn't do, like, overwhelming odds. I mean, the final mission was a split-screen battle where you had a bunch of slow-moving targets that you just had to focus on one at a time. It was not a challenge. Tank, bike. After all, and also not to mention most of the COs in that game were the new COs, just most of them were not very memorable. Well, at least the one comes to bad guy COs. Joker was just a more chaotic black. Cole was just a variation of Adder. Kindle was actually something a little bit unique. Von Bolt never had a map that really synergized with him all too well. Because you don't get power charge for destroying or not destroying a Uzium, if I remember correctly. Maybe it did, I can't remember. But even then, it seemed like those COs never really got personified personality, because there's usually a lot of chatter between the COs in the previous Advance Wars games. And since Dual Strike, you get to choose a CO most of the time, they didn't really program a lot of chatter between the two COs. So that's probably one reason why those the villains seem so weak. There's just not a whole lot of game chatter. There's some good attacks there. Tank hits tank, hits the artillery, joins there. Of course, being in range of this artillery as well. Lin is down to 30,000. I think it's one of those cases where I'm just not going to back out of the game, even though players already lost. Yeah, Von Bolt. I mean, a lot of concepts in Days Ruin or Dual Strike was interesting, where you're draining life from the land. That's definitely interesting, but it never really had a good payoff. A lot of captures along the flank. Yeah, this game's ultimately over. Rig, mech, infantry, and battlecopter. Good shot there. Does seal the tank there, but of course, this game's ultimately over. If anything, Dr. Eggman Extractor did the same thing, but was more interesting overall. You know, I'm not sure. I haven't really played too many Sonic games, so I can't really say for sure. Medium tank, medium tank. I just remember that almost like all those Sonic games are not great or buggy as all hell. Nope, pops CO power. Needs a battlecopter to hit the unit there, blocks a base, and looks like not enough steam to take him out this turn, but Rubio captures the properties and decides to turn not to move everything else. And deletes him. Kills himself. Either way, this anger is saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I get started on the next replay, do you need his restroom? Please give me a moment. My apologies, I'm back. Okay. This one should be reasonable enough. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars Daisy and Tiny Wars replay. So on bottom left side as the purple Mira, we got Inconspicuous. On top right side as the dark gray Will, we got Krons. Will is of course unchanged from the card's counterpart, has standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 30, 60, 60. All units get plus 10+10, direct units get plus 20% offense, and of course for the superpower get plus 2 movement range. Mira is a custom CO, has 0% boarding cost, so her loading on CR unit is absolutely free. 6 radius, no expansion, 45 max energy, no day-to-day, no CO power, and for the superpower, -1 damage global for 45 energy, so pretty quick charge, particularly with the massive radius, but since she also has 0% boarding cost, it doesn't really matter if she gets loaded into, just have to be careful whichever unit she gets loaded into will lose its turn. So probably the best thing she'd be loaded up into is probably Flare or Recon. Spikes are perfectly fine as well. Things can be a little bit issued, like I said, for consuming her own turn. And seeing how skinny this map is, her CO zone is going to cover our entire flank. Infantry bike. Bike. Looks like Calder's ex-wife. Possibly? I can somewhat see it, but not really. Seeing her hair short, she probably is an ex-wife of somebody's. Infantry. Recon infantry. Mira does get loaded up into a bike. This map also does offer both players a temporary airport and center to utilize, so it's a pretty good map for battlecopters. T-copter, mech, and infantry. Early T-cops could be quite nice to capture these flanking or flanks to get those cities on islands. Tank mech. Does not drop with the CO of the unit there. It's generally good to have it if you can dismount your unit. Might as well just dismount it so it doesn't get randomly shot down. Because it's always just load up either way next turn. Recon, rig. I'm not sure the rig is going to be useful. Maybe meant for more mech play. Guess we'll find out soon enough. artillery T-copter commits base skip. A lot of units in range of the CO power. Like I said, it will cover entire flank. It's actually covering 2 flanks. Tank flare. Recon does not spot the T-copter. Nothing stopped the recon in the center, so Mirror's gonna have some good times. Drops with infantry in there. Could head up north to capture the other ones. Quick push forward a mech, but it's in range, vision range of the recon, so maybe that was not a good spot to dismount it. This is open ground right there. Mech ain't here. Don't worry about that. That's probably something on my side to fail to connect the server. Hits the mech twice. Tank hits the mech, bike there as well. Will's CO tank is in range of the recon, but would be in range of the mech if it pushes too far forward. Recon interrupts the capture of the radar station. It does fire 3 defense stars. Does park the tank on top of the ruins, which is effectively a plane so you can hide in. Tank. Now some tell me the ruins should have 2 defense stars and 1, because it's supposed to be a ruined city, I think. And then the mist on planes should be the 1 defense star, since that would make more sense of a hiding spot on planes. I think those tiles are just backwards. We do have a battlecopter, tank, and infantry. As he started to deploy out temporary airport, because he can. Drops the capture there, very nice. Spike does get into the temporary airport as well. Now artillery, mech, and battlecopter. Artillery tells take out that unit there. Mirrors at 22 energy. Infantry and rocket. We got the rockets. We're on game. Is that infantry even going to be picked back up, or will it just remain there? Probably to remain there forever. It's actually a pretty good way to keep it occupied, since a T-copter will require both tiles to be open, because the T-copter cannot offload from a C-tile. Keeping it straight there is also just make a guarantee that your opponent can't capture it for themselves. So there's some utility keeping the infantry there either way. Plus, it's only 1,500 value there. Not a big loss though of leaving it behind. Recon does go down there. Hits infantry units as well. Mirrors at 40 energy. Very likely she'll get our seal power deployed next turn. Good hits down south. Hits the anti-air as well. Made a lot of losses there. Wills up to 49 energy. Managed to knock out a good number of those units. An excellent turn there by Will. Battlecopter, recon, and anti-air. Pops a superpower. I wonder if the T-copter can reach the city. Looks like it can't. Nope, the T-Copter cannot drop the unit off the city, so it looks like Mira will have access to these cities. Unless the T-Copter can simply get in the way. Actually, parking the T-Copter there could block it from this one from getting over here. Hits the radar station twice. Does not block it. Does get trapped there by the radar station. So Mir will be able to land the infantry there onto the properties. Gray won't be unable to. Now let's get a shot there from the radar station. Civil infantry unit can also pitch in next turn. Rocket tank here. Mir's at 5 energy at the moment. Battlecop does finish off that unit. Artillery, bike, and battlecopter. T-Copter head down south, saw the T-Copter make his way up there. So knows he cannot land there anymore. A battlecopter has to go over there and clean it up. Clean it out. Who has a good number of battlecopters here right now. 3 battlecopters center, 1 on the temporary airport. Or the not so temporary airport. Medium tank. Infantry tanks heading over here. Right now, Mira has 24,000 income, Will's at 22. Big difference is the couple cities that Mira has captured in the center on Will's side of the map. Will does flip that city there. Catch a couple more cities as well. Of course, it is in range of a rocket. Battlecopter, tank, and mech. Strikes infantry down south. Do have some battlecopters nearby, as was an 8th year, but looks like they're going to be out of range. Another rocket and mech. Recon gets a nice pass there. Will does push his tank down south. Gets some good hits there with the battlecopters. Takes out the unit on top of the radar station. Hits the artillery. Will does have access to his superpower next turn, which could help him range his opponent. He did see the artillery and a bunch of tanks. He does not see the rocket. It was on top of some ruins. Does strike the recon there. Takes out the T-Copter up north. Mira starting to pull back out of this area now. Right now, Will could go for a battleship if he had enough money. And a battleship would provide him some excellent fire support. Anti-air tank. Pops the superpower. Mech gets a good strike there. Tank hits tank. Medium tank hits tank. Anti-air hits tank. tank hits bike. Bike hits bike. Does get next to the anti-tank there, in range with the medium tank. Medium tank does strike tank. Tank hits artillery. Bike hits, or battlecopter hits artillery. If unit hits a tank. Hits the recon. Looks like the anti-tank is going to be left unscathed, though it is in range of an artillery piece. Not a good idea for that anti-tank hits the medium tank either way. Anti-air duster and mech. Mirror pop her own power. Mech battlecopter with 2 T-copters nearby. Almost about to win the tank there. Does do some joins. Gets the unit there. Rocket does the medium tank. Gets knocked out by battlecopter. Insert for 162,000. Will starts for 131. Medium tank pushed right forward, which is actually getting low on fuel. Battlecopters do take up the battlecopter. Battlecopter hits battlecopter. Infantry hits infantry. Yeah, we'll be able to capture some good known properties over there. And here puts a good round in the battlecopter. Hits one of the rockets, finds the other. And there's no way for him to really reach this rocket right now. You have to clear out this anti-tank to get through the battlecopter to hit the rocket. Battlecopter recon tank. This rocket starting to run low on ammo, down to 2 ammo. It's a battlecopter there. A lot of good picks. Mirror pops another power. Takes another battlecopter there. Tank gets tank. Tank, and duster. And start of 135,000. Will has 88. Hits the rocket there. Takes out the rocket there with another 1 health tank. Takes the recon. Units are going down the center. Let's pull back the tank here. 21 fuel. Will's largely pulling back from the center of the map. Medium tank, and something got deleted, I believe. Tanks go down. Does spot the duster there. Gets a good round into the duster. Meteor mech. It's the infantry unit there. It's the anti-air. Duster falls back. Could take its time to try to clean up the infantry unit up here, but probably it's too wounded for that. That was the unit that got deleted. I wasn't paying attention where exactly got deleted. Right now my nose is just starting to run. Battlecopter gets a good shot there. Let's look at the tank there. Artillery units take a good hit there. A rocket in the center. On top of the city. battleship deployed by Mira. Wolverine now has at 26,000 income, but it's down 164 versus 109, so he's down pretty behind in value on the field, even though he has a higher income. There's a regular tank there. Another Duster, tank, and mech. Gotta get some good spotting. Pops another superpower there. Good strikes there. Does put around that battle copter. And I think Will is starting to get steamrolled at the moment. Here artillery, Insert 161, Will has 83. He is really far behind. Duster gets trapped. One health Duster wasn't really matter all too much. Battleship is still in the region, and also eventually won. And Will does go ahead and resign there. This end grade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. My apologies. What good is a CO unit that weakens units on unload? Yep, I'm back this week. So Friday, I may head home to visit my family for Christmas. Ugh, my nose is starting to get stuffed up. Probably gonna be my last replay next. That seems good. Another game with Will. Have I cast a lot of Will this today? Oh well. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars Daisy Ruin Tiny Wars replay. So on bottom right side is the blue Isabella, who got a foreign name +1. I'm not sure how I'm going to write this. Small on top left side is the red Will. We got Bench Warmer number 2. Will is unchanged for the cartridge counterpart, has sound boarding cost, 2 radius, 30, 60, 60. All units get +10/+10, direct ground units get additional +strength and offense, and for superpower, +2 movement range. Isabella has been nerfed from the cartridge counterpart, has standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 30, 60, 60. All units get +strength and offense, +10% defense. And all units get additional +strength, or all that, +2 movement range, and +1 indirect range. So very similar to Will, just slightly different. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. Do know as well, this infantry unit is weighted. I made that mistake first time cast this map. While player 2 does start 2 infantry units there, unweighted. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport. There's also a good number of ponds here. I call them ponds. It says river, but it sure does not look like a river to me. So let's call them ponds. Ah. Probably a Smurf account, I'm not sure. I have not casted a person player with a foreign name this today, but I'm not sure. Yep, the comms towers with the that are contestable and surrounded with ponds and saltwater ponds. You got freshwater ponds and saltwater ponds. Got a bike, infantry, and bike. Good number of bikes so far to pull on the field. Got a bike here with the CO, Will's CO unit. Ugh, my mind's just starting to get fried right now. Been a long day. I've pulled back, moved around 84 Ethernet cables today. Because the reason why I took the last week off, because they were redoing the office, and I had in total I have to move around, relocate 160 Ethernet cables. So my hands are right now on fire from punching down, from fiberglass, and just being cut up in general because cable trays are not filed down and sharp as hell. Well, I guess we'll see enough. Well, enough. It is a Stallfest map. He played Claw Box in Tiny Wars tournament, and it was a competitive game. Well, I'll have to take your word for it because I don't know about that game. If you know that replay, you can always send it to me. Tank. Got a tank up here as well, but of course Will has his bike, CO bike there. 5 infantry unit could stand in front, but it will be a temporary blocker. And not a very good one at that. Tank, flare, and infantry. Goes for a flare, interesting enough. Flares at least decent anti-infantry platforms. It was solely intended for fog. I mean, look how many hiding spots. You got forests, you got mist on plains, which somehow provides 2 defense stars. You got ruins, who only provide 1 defense star. I really think they should invert the defense stars of mist on plains and ruins. Ruins supposed to be in a destroyed city, and cities have 2 defense stars. And mist on plains just a misty plains. Sure, mist does help with concealment, but I think ruins do solid covers better than gaseous water. Wilfredness +1 apparently. Got it. So that's... Wait, but playing Isabella. Oh no. We have a tank here. Isabella has not loaded her seal unit. Maybe... Oh. Go for tank, battlecopter, and double base skin. I guess that's what he wills it to be. Not sorry. Anti-air. 1 health bike is not going to be a very good blocker. Flare nearby, ready for retaliation. Tank, infantry, and anti-air. Will she CO her tank or battlecopter? Oh no, she already has a CO tank there. Yep, mine's melted. 22,000 without the joins there, so could go for a bomber. Tank, and another tank. And anti-air. So no bomber, no fun. Would that be a great call? Probably not. Would it be a fun call? Yes. Does interrupt the capture there. Anti-air. Will push forward his CO bike there. Up to 23 energy. Start flipping the comm tower. Of course, can be interrupted. There's also a good number of pawns around the points. Blue has obtained the comm tower here, while this one's still despicably neutral. Battlecopter can push forward perfectly fine. There's nothing there to threaten it. Anti-air is a little bit far away. Also will occupy the comm tower, preventing it from being started from being captured. No, he's not playing the beast. He's playing as Will. Tank. Triple tanks, no tanks. Does start capturing this despicably neutral city. Anti-air heading down south of the winter. Does get a good hit there, sacks that unit. Tank does hit tank, anti-air hits tank. Tank bike. Takes the infantry unit there, tank hits the tank. Tank does hit the infantry unit there. Battlecopter does pull back with the anti-air, not big surprise. A couple tanks here. That'll help him secure this flank, though still got a couple tanks there. We're going to be capturing up the city there, maybe the one that's going to cross the pond. Will that manage to get a CO power while loaded to a bike? He is somewhat vulnerable, but going to be hit by 1 tank. So Will could pull out superpower next turn and maybe try to use it to engage the battlecopter with the anti-air. Lulu right now has to play around plus 2 movement range, but Isabella's pretty close to her own superpower. In fact, there's enough targets in front of her that she could possibly get her superpower deployed. Nope, pulls back. Mech will take a shot there from the pawn. Grand Calm Towers do provide 3 defense stars, and pawns or rivers provide 0 defense stars. Tank. Tank. And artillery. Will, does it pop a superpower? Nope, he does not will it to be. Pulls back a bunch of tanks there. Maybe trying to set up a formation up counterattack through this region. Get some reinforcements going. Battle copter headed in the south. He has captured this column tower here. Tank. Mech and T-copter. 108 versus 108, so it looks like Isabel has about a full turn advantage. Now let's put a battlecopter on top of the HQ, so if this tank goes down, she can just reseal the battlecopter here, or this battlecopter there. 53 energy as well, so she's very likely to get a CO power if Will were to attack or not knock out her tank in one turn. Battlecopter, infantry, 7,000 funds, so perhaps another tank. Could be for our anti-air. Down south, I think another tank would be useful. Got 4 tanks, potentially 5 here. A couple battlecopters. Yeah, I think tank. Yep, goes for tank. Oh, you're talking about this as a stall map. I think I found that stall part of the map. Another battlecopter. Artillery. There as well, her superpower does give her +1 indirect range. You know what's funny? Isabella right now, with this iteration, her nerfed version, she's effectively Jake from Dual Strike, or Advanced Wars by Web. Since both of their superpowers both provide +1 indirect range, gives her units +2 movement range, as well as a bit of firepower bonuses of various sorts. Anti-air, battlecopter, bike, and infantry. 167,000 for 149. She still has an advantage. Will puts a CO unit on top of the HQ. Was running low on fuel. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and mech. We'll just have to time his rally cry just right, pretty much. Because you have to be a bit closer than just within range 8 tiles away for his tanks, because you have to need to push them a bit farther. You have to go through not only the first wall, you have to go through the second wall as well, or else get artilleried. And this actually, look at this wall here by Isabella. You got bikes and infantry up front to also be another roadblock, so he has to push beyond that, and then hit the tanks, and then push beyond that to hit the back line, which is going to be a little bit difficult. And Isabella, she's pretty close to her own superpower, just need a little bit more energy. It can be a little bit difficult right now to get that popped or obtained. And she has sort of have to do the same thing as well, but in this case, it's actually a bit more expensive mechs. So there's a number of battle copters in the front line. But you can see the composition of the wall. Isabelle's doing a good job keeping her artillery in the back line. Enough to cover the front line. Maybe we'll should start pursuing this comm tower up north. It's a little bit exposed. Have the infantry push forward, maybe drop a mech off of the T-copter. Yep. But these are pawns that do not get promoted to a king or queen or to a rook, getting across the other side. Battlecopter, anti-air infantry, and bike. Both players are at 45 units. I don't know what the unit limit is on this map. Pushing forward to catch some properties is a good way to bait out your opponent. But I really do think Will needs to take these infantry and start pursuing this comm tower. Maybe even a recon over here to help just bully the infantry away. I really do think Will can put some pressure over here with a handful of infantry units there. Because he's able to obtain both comm towers. It's +10/+10, which is very nice to have. Does not stop the capture, can continue to join the capture. And looks like Isabella's pushing up north some assets. Anti-air will be very effective up north now. So there's not much for me to say at the moment. They're just repositioning units. Battlecopter, bike, infantry, and tank. Dusters wouldn't be half bad deployment. There's a lot of infantry on the field, which does do well against, and not to mention the battlecopters. Yep. Any 5 minutes now. It may happen any 10 minutes from now. Sorry if you hear my drink. I realized that drink was a little bit too noisy. Oh well. Well, it is starting to collapse the front line over here. Good number of tanks. The CO units over here provides a good pressure. It's actually somewhat close to front line, but still be difficult to reach. There's a lot of mass around it. Isabella's command tanks up north, in which 5 more energy. She's getting close to her own superpower. Maybe down south here, an anti-tank should be deployed in the field, though we'll be struck by infantry and battlecopters. Yeah, still probably a good idea to go for an anti-tank down south. And put on top of the forest with 3 defense stars. Yeah, anything like a war tank, that will do. So it's like, I was thinking about with infantry nearby, it's probably not a good idea to go for the anti-tank. A war tank, on the other hand, will be a bit more difficult to displace. Maybe Will should have gotten the artillery down here. He doesn't even have artillery to help range this factory. He's starting to push on forward, not popping superpower just yet. As well as may capture 2 properties here. Both at 20,000. Looks like Will's gonna let those 2 properties be captured to perhaps obtain a war factory down south. I've been casting a little bit too much Command and Conquer lately. War factory. Just a regular factory. Or base if you prefer Advanced Wars by Web and Dual Strike terms. Because Advanced Wars 2, the factory was of course that big building that builds a lot of stuff quickly. For free. It looks like Isabel's going to be doing the same. Anything could be a good possibility. Or Will's own war tank. Though you could try popping superpower and charge forward to blunt this attack. I think that would be a good or bad idea at this moment. Probably a bad idea if it's coming from me. Will's up to 56 units, well above 50. Goes for another war tank. Infantry. And of course, there's the superpower. Let's see. Hits Spike. Hits infantry. ATs are charging forward to clean up the infantry to get his other units pushed forward with a bit more up ground. It's artillery. It's tank. It's artillery. It's tank. It's tank. It's tank on top of HQ. It's tank again. It's infantry. Leaves 1 health remaining. Starting HQ capture. This could be a game-winning move. Hard to say at this exact moment. You could try dogpiling around it. And does manage to reach one of those battle copters. It's infantry unit there. Mech captures the property. Mech's hit infantry. Bike blows himself up against an anti-air. Hits a couple tanks there. This needs something here to block this path. It looks like the HQ capture. There's 2 path tiles here to get that HQ. Trap the tank there, so force it to shoot against the target. Yard sale, everything let's go. Yeah. It's a very big yard, you can see a lot of planes. Anti-tank or war tank could be useful up here. Anti-air. Not a bad idea with the number of battlecopters infantry nearby. Tank bike. Superpower in return. There joins there. It's the tank. It's the bike. It's the tank. It's a tank. It's a tank. It's a battle copter. It's a battle copter. It's a mech. It's a mech. It's the capturing bike. It's anti-air. Hits anti-air. Hits battle copter. It's battle copter. It's tank. It's battle copter. It's tank. Does not finish off tank there. At 1% health, it's tank. It's battlecopter. It's battlecopter. Medium tank, tank. Answer 159. Will's answer 159. Will has his bike back here. I had to take a moment to figure out what his command unit was. Get some good targets there. A lot of energy. 25 energy already. Hits the artillery. Hits the tank there. Good strikes there. Polish it up. Okay, there we go. Got the base now being occupied or surrounded. And who's capturing? Join captures. 3 counter progress remaining. hits the tank. Hits the battlecopter, hits the tank, loses itself, hits the tank. T-copter drops off a mech, hits the tank. I think the HQ capture will succeed. Shooting everything. Tank. And Isabella's turn. Hits the regular tank there, hits the anti-air, hits the mech, hits the battlecopter. Mech goes down, battlecopter goes down. Infantry goes down, battlecopter goes down, hits the tank, goes down, hits the mech, it goes down, hits the infantry, it goes down, hits the anti-air, it does not go down. Anti-air is at around 4% health, anti-air goes down, hits the infantry, it does not go down, and does resign there. This end grade, same thing watching, and on to the next replay. As mentioned beforehand, my voice is starting to go out, so that shall be it for me tonight. So everyone, thank you for watching. Yeah. My voice is really starting to go out. Sorry about that.